Hi, and welcome back to Soul Food Ministries and Outreach. I'm Henriette Hobson. Thank you for tuning in, and welcome to all the ministries connected to this ministry, Soul Food Ministries, which is No More Jim Crow, my craft ministry, and everything that I do. When I, bring out tools and, whatever gardening, whatever we do it in the name of Jesus. uh, I wanted to come back so I could talk because I was almost into 50 minutes and I was really trying to shorten it up and try to keep it at 30 minutes so it won't get too long. But when God is moving, you don't want to cut him off because what do you have? What are you cutting him off for, really? What Nothing's more important. Um, I wanted to talk about, because it's what they call Holy Week, and then we're celebrating Christ and the life of Christ, the crucifixion and resurrection of Christ, and his ascension, and his seating in the right hand of the Father right now with us that are born again believers. And, with it being Holy Week, I remember, I mean, I love all things Jesus. No matter what, when I didn't understand or know better about a lot of different things, I celebrated all those holidays that were in there that the Hebrews, not the Jews, now the Hebrews of the Bible did. They are not the same. And so don't insult the Jewish people with trying to connect them into that because they're not a part of that. They don't want to be a part of Jesus and Jesus is coming or whatever. He's not their Messiah or whatever. And they already made it clear that they don't want you to do that. Even though they want you to believe it so that they can have the upper hand. That's a whole another video. But in order to teach my children and make Jesus fun to them, I would act the Bible out the best that I could, hands on, whatever I could do, because I like crafts and all that stuff anyway, that we would do that. So if it was Purim or so all this kind of passed me up right now, but all the holidays, I would walk through it. But what I was doing was I was telling them why they did it so they could learn the Bible, learn the scriptures, and then so that they could know why Jesus came. Because when Jesus came, he fulfilled all that, and we don't have to do all that anymore. He told us don't do that. Don't we don't have to do all those holidays. None of those holidays mean anything when it comes down to if you're saved or not. Being born again doesn't have anything to do with those holidays, as far as it's not going to get you born again. No matter what the rituals are that you're going to go through and the traditions and all that. But it was a way to teach them and bring the Bible to life. And we would do plays and all that. And I suggest it, I really do, because they enjoyed it so much. We would have the best time ever. I brought out the crystal, all the best china, the sterling silver cups, or silver plated, whatever. I had gold silverware that I purchased because I wanted them to grow up with the best and understand what existed out there, what I could afford to give them, And so we would, put the white tablecloth on the living room table, and I had a big old huge sofa table, and I would, bring out. I used to use a sheet, and then I had an old antique tablecloth. I think I got from my great grandmother or something. I can't remember now. But then I made a special tablecloth that had gold thread running through it and what have you. And, I mean, it was just in napkins, cloth napkins. I mean, the top notch best. Went to the store, got lamb. I had got a leg of lamb plus the shank we would use to roast that to go on the Seder meal um, plate that, was used to demonstrate what all of those Passovers situations were, what the Bible talked about the Passover, what happened in the Moses' Passover. And so we learned all of that throughout the year. I was teaching them, and we were all studying and learning about just the Bible in general. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, the 12 tribes of Israel, the mom of Moses, mom and dad of Moses, his sister Miriam. I mean, just everything. Pharaoh and his son and what was it? Anyway, Moses' adopted mom, which was Pharaoh's sister, and I'm trying to think of her name right now. But anyway, we went through the whole thing. It was just fun. It was fun, and they looked so forward to it. Mom, you ready to go? When you going to go shopping for the Passover? And so I, eventually went shopping for the Passover meal, and we would pull out everything and polish up the silver and set the table and have everything. I mean, it was the best. Matter of fact, one of my kids texted me and said, "I'm remembering Good Friday," because we would do it on Good Friday every year. It was such a wonderful way to make memories for your children, and I'm grateful to God that they enjoyed it. Now, some of them, they don't. This one particular one is one of my daughters, and she would. She was the one that won the prize every year. She was the best Bible scholar of them all, and she loved it. Let me tell you, I don't know if it was at the Catholic Supply or where I found it, because we didn't have a whole lot of Christian bookstores, but I think it was probably at the Christian bookstore, because by that time we had a few local ones that had kind of popped up, because we started to have Christian T-shirts and buttons, "I love you, Jesus," and all that stuff. And it's a shame that we're not doing it anymore. I still will do it from time to time, but they had a bracelet, and it was a 10 Commandment bracelet. And I think at that time, my sons, they're the two younger ones, and they were too young to, I had to have had a prize for them, because they had to be able to, if they won. No, they were too young to even win, because they were too young to understand and be able to, when they were that young. But it was pretty much between her and her older sister. And so it was a little bracelet, like what they would call a charm bracelet, and you would have the little 10 Commandments hanging, two little pillars, hanging off all the way around it. And each one of them, I think, had a commandment on it. It was 10 of them, whatever. Cutest thing ever. So, and then, even though they didn't, whoever, no, the rest of them didn't win the big prize, that prize, it was always something. Everybody got something. Everybody won something somewhere. Everybody was treated to a little treasure. And the little gold coin, chocolate coins, that they have out. Oh, I'm trying to think. It was, I mean, they had a test, and they passed the test and they won. I think that's what the bracelet was for. They had to know all the 12 tribes. We knew all about Joseph and his coat of many colors. I think, let's see. And so, then we did the whole, trying to think of the name of everything. It's been so long, because they're all grown, and I got grandkids now. But they, the bread, the braided bread, Then I'd roast a leg of lamb, and we would, eat that with a meal. Our, lamb, and I'm trying to think if we had macaroni. Sometimes I even had a ham. you know, so we wasn't going by Jewish tradition. We're going by the the deliverance of Jesus giving us deliverance. We can eat anything we want to as long as we blessed it. So, but it was just, and we dress up and look nice, at the table, and it was just the best. And I'm so grateful to God that it impacted my kids' life where they wanted Jesus. And we'd have giant coloring books. I mean, this thing went on all day long. Matter of fact, it was an all week long situation because I was cooking and preparing all week long. And by the time we got to, Good Friday, we had big coloring books. I had these giant coloring books that were probably about 3 feet tall, and the same, even more, maybe a little bit more wide. And they were Christian coloring books. And we would put them on the floor with a bunch of crayons and Crayolas and stuff and color and do games. And, we did the hide the cracker. And I mean, we kind of combined everything in there, just everything, anything to make it fun that was of the word. And we had a seek for Jesus, that he was coming back again. And we were recognizing him, and that he was with us, but he was going to return in the flesh for us. It was just, I enjoyed it as much or more than they did. I was worn out from all of the big deal, because it was a bunch of house cleaning and getting everything prepared to look pretty and festive and what have you. But and then we would do, little crafts with construction paper, making a tomb, and cutting out with, gray and brown for stones. And it was too much fun. The most fun of it all, and the thing that meant the most, is that they were enjoying learning Jesus and finding him and wanted more. It wasn't enough. I mean, until people were just falling out asleep. We stayed up all day, all night, doing all kind of fun activities and what have you, until, everybody just knock out. It'd be on the couch, people, kids on the couch, sleep everywhere. My husband was usually working. Unfortunately, he wasn't as into it at that time. He wasn't, but he was working a lot. And I was blessed to be at home. We missed him being there, but, people make choices. And that's the reason why I say don't marry anybody that is not saved. They don't want to share in the love that you have for Jesus. It's not as important to them, or if it's important at all. He would, ask us about it. Are you cooking already? Or, whatever, what's going on? The kids are calling or whatever. But, that's not enough. You need to be there. You need to be sharing it with us. But here nor there, that was the choices that I made, and this is what we were working with at that time. So, and it didn't put any brain on our parade. We're gonna serve Jesus no matter who won't serve Jesus. CBN and TBN was active, and and I remember one particular. They would have so much. Just wonderful. It was Jesus, 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 all week long with all kind of movies, everything. We couldn't wait for all the movies to come on. 10 Commandments, we looking at the 10 Commandments, dun, 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 Caesar Beatty Bills, And so, but it was this one gentleman that would come on CBN every year. And he would do a bust sculpture of Jesus. Most powerful, so powerful. And he would take clay, and right there, he'd start off with just a head, a round shape of a bust shape, shoulders, and he would turn it into a masterpiece. he would turn it into the Jesus that, they have created and made to be the Jesus, white Jesus. But this was brown clay, so it was across the board. And he put a crown of thorns on his head. He give him a beard, do the whole face, and then snatch the beard off and punch him, and hit him with the. I mean, it was amazing. I can't even explain it. It might be still available. You can probably pull it up on YouTube somewhere. Oh, I love everything Jesus. I love everything Jesus. Nothing's going to turn me back, turn me away. I'm in. I'm all in. I can't afford to let anything turn me around, away from him. The song that they sang in the civil rights movement, I'm not gonna let nobody turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Gonna let nobody turn me around. I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on talking. What is it? Marching to my freedom land. Something similar to that. That's a Christian song. And that's it for me. I'm not turning around, giving in for anything, anyone. Oh yeah, I've compromised a couple of times on some things, and I've got myself in a couple of pickles, let me tell you. Just listening to other people, the other circumstances and situations, letting whatever carnality that was still residing in me be pulled and tugged on, and God spared me from some things. Let me tell you some things. There were some plots and some plans that was set for me, and some traps that I didn't even know was set. But God. Don't turn around from him. Turn to him. Turn away from your sins. That's what repenting is. And turning to Christ. Don't let anyone turn you around away from Christ. Keep walking. Keep talking about him, talking to him. Get to that promised land. Don't let anyone stop you. Teach your children. If you don't have nothing else that you can do, that's the most important you can do, is teaching children about Jesus. Raising your children up in him. Oh, there was a lot I didn't know, but I gave everything I did know, good and bad, until I learned different. But he's it. He's the answer. He's the way, the truth, and the life. And no man can come into the Father but through Jesus Christ. It's the only life. You may be living, existing, but life you don't have until you're born again and have Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. So anyway, we did all of the, and had the best fun and the best times. They didn't go through all of that with their kids like I went through it with them. Sadly, I wish they had. That energy just wasn't there with them like it was with me. So just circumstances were different. But everybody knows Jesus and asked Jesus to come into their heart. Every one of them. And they asked me. I didn't ask them. I could have, I could have asked, do you want Jesus in your heart? You understand what, I always talk to them and tell them, you understand. I always talk to them, let them know this flesh that you see, this is not the real me. This is not the real us. And I would have them look into each other's eyes and look in our eyes and look at each other. We look at each other and say, that's who that's in there. That's the real person. They, even as a little kid, I mean, I would use, for them, I would use, if we were eating, I would use what we were eating as an example of teaching them something about Jesus and how we were a part of him. So I'm just wanting to encourage you, do it, go for it. It is the best thing you can do for your family. And serve the Lord, make it fun and enjoy it. He's not angry at any of us, mad at us if you're born again. That anger of God is not going to come up on you once you're born again. He has given us grace. And it is huge, and it goes a long way, and it is even unbelievable. People are still trying to talk us out of grace. It took me a while to accept grace in its fullest because it just seemed like it doesn't make sense. It's too good to be true. It seems like it's contrary to everything that I've been taught. But when people get finished twisting the scriptures because they don't understand, then that's all you know. And we don't allow God to be the loving God of grace and mercy and compassion that he is. Because that's all he wants to do is show us love and good. That's all he wants to do. Any evils that come along, that came from the devil. It is not God that did it. God just takes and comes in there to rescue you out of it. People think, well, God did it because he came in and did. No, he rescued you. He saw you in your filth and in your darkest hour. And he took that and to pull you out. You got to come out on your own. So you got to get to a place that you say, I want out. He's not going to make you, because this is an accept him yourself thing. Okay, this is a you having a choice. So make the choice. I just make the choice. There's nothing is more important than that decision. Well, happy Resurrection Sunday coming up. Happy Good Friday. Happy Jesus. Happy everything about him. Enjoy yourselves. It's okay to go to a what they call an Easter egg hunt. It's all right, to do, some of those things. Just don't let them overpower what you're doing that you do of Christ. Let the Christ part of it be the most important. If you got an Easter egg hunt, put some cross stickers on those eggs. Turn it into something that you can teach about Christ. That they're not out there embracing the bunny and embracing, no. Jesus is the reason for this season and him alone. See you next time.